All right, so ready to jump into something that can really make or break a performance.
Absolutely.
Memorization. We're talking poetry slam here.
Yeah, yeah.
That feeling,
Yeah.
you're on stage, the spotlight
Oh, I know it.
hits you and your mind just goes
Poof.
blank. But what if we could like turn that fear into like fuel,
Oh, yeah.
into confidence and
Yeah,
power.
I love that.
So we're checking out today 10 techniques that come from the Bahn-Slam canal. Um, in 10 Schritten zum perfekten Gedächtnis.
Nice.
It's like, think of it as a toolkit, right?
Yeah.
Each tool is designed to make those words like really a part of you.
It's really fascinating, you know? They kind of reframe it, memorization, not as this like chore, but as something creative.
Oh,
You're
interesting.
connecting with the words like on a deeper level. It's pretty cool.
Okay, so technique number 1, the echo effect. They call it find the heartbeat of the words. I'm a little skeptical here. Can just repeating a line over and over again, can that really make it like stick? I mean, is it like a catchy song?
It's a little more than just like mindless repetition, right? It's more like discovering the poem's pulse, you know?
Mm.
It's like it's got this inherent rhythm, this
Yeah.
emotional depth.
Right.
And when you repeat a line, right? Maybe you vary the speed, the emphasis.
Okay.
You're not just memorizing the words, you're feeling them, you're feeling the weight, the texture.
Wow.
You're kind of uncovering those hidden layers of meaning.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? Shakespeare's actors, they do this all the time.
Really?
Breathing life into these like centuries-old words. It's amazing.
So if I'm like working on a sonnet,
Okay.
do I just repeat all 14 lines like in one go?
Right.
Or do I break it down?
Yeah, no, you break it down for sure.
Okay. Could I focus maybe on like a couplet?
Absolutely.
Really dig into that like rhyme and rhythm
Yeah.
before moving on.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works for you, for the structure of the poem.
Okay.
Play around with different rhythms, you know, different pauses, different emotional tones. Even each repetition, it becomes like a mini rehearsal, a chance to like refine your delivery,
Yeah.
deepen your connection with those words.
This is starting to click. This is starting to make sense. Okay. Next technique. From mosaic to masterpiece, the art of assembling. It sounds like we're treating this poem like a puzzle.
I love it.
But if I break it down into like smaller pieces, how do I know I can put it back together?
Okay, so imagine you're creating a mosaic, right?
Okay.
Each tile, whether it's a stanza or a verse, you've got to master that individually.
Right.
But you also got to see how it connects to those surrounding tiles.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Are there recurring themes?
Right, sure.
Shifts in tone, changes in perspective, and as you master each section, look for those bridges, those transitions.
I get that.
They create the cohesive whole.
So it's like building a bridge from one stanza to the next.
Yeah.
Finding the connective tissue
I love that. That's a great way to put it.
that holds the whole poem together. This is making me rethink how I approach this whole thing.
I'm glad to hear.
This is great. Okay, this next one sounds a little out there. Dance with the words. Are you telling me to like bust a move while learning a poem?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
Our bodies, they're incredible instruments of learning, right?
Yeah.
We learn to dance, we learn to play sports.
Right.
Not just by like memorizing steps.
You feel it.
Yeah, you feel the movement, you develop muscle memory.
Uh-huh.
Why not apply that to poetry?
That's interesting.
Right. Walk while you're reciting, use your steps to kind of like mark the rhythm or, you know, get creative, choreograph a dance, like embodies the poem's emotional arc.
Wow.
Find what feels natural, what helps you connect with the words.
So it's about making the words like come alive.
Yeah.
Not just in my mind, but in my body.
Exactly.
That's pretty neat. Okay, an unexpected soundtrack for your everyday life. This one seems pretty straightforward. Record myself, listen throughout the day.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that get like annoying after a while? How do I prevent it from being a chore?
Okay, well, that's where active listening comes in, right?
Okay.
You don't just let the words kind of wash over you.
Right.
Focus on like the nuances of your delivery, the pauses, the emphasis, the emotional tone. Identify like where you could improve your pacing, maybe your articulation, things like that.
Okay.
Your commute, your workout, it all becomes a rehearsal.
So it's about like turning those everyday moments into opportunities.
Exactly.
To like refine my performance.
Yeah.
To really make the words mine.
Exactly. Own it.
This is fascinating. All right. With closed eyes, see? The hidden canvas. I've got a pretty vivid imagination.
Good.
But can you give me like a concrete example of how I could turn words into these images?
Okay, so let's say your poem describes a walk through a bustling city, right?
Okay.
Now, don't just visualize the buildings and the crowds.
So,
Feel the uneven pavement beneath your feet.
wow, okay.
Hear the cacophony of traffic and chatter, the smell, the aromas of street food. Engage all of your senses.
Right.
Create this immersive experience that anchors those images in your memory.
It's like creating a movie in my mind.
Exactly.
Right. This sensory feast that just brings these words to life.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, on to a technique that sounds particularly appealing. Between twilight and dream, a nocturnal key to mastery.
Yeah.
So reading before bed allows my brain to process while I sleep.
Right. Exactly.
But how do I know those words really sink in? Like, they don't just fade away with my dreams.
Okay, so it's about creating a ritual.
Okay.
You find a quiet space, you dim the lights,
Okay.
you clear your mind, and as you read, just visualize those words sinking into your subconscious.
Right.
Don't try to force it.
Yeah.
Just trust your brain
Right.
to consolidate that information while you sleep.
Okay.
Think of it like planting seeds in, like fertile soil.
Okay, so less cramming, more cultivating.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay, now this next one is something I struggle with, honestly.
Yeah.
Why I practice with my friends beforehand. I get that feedback's valuable, but sharing my work, that feels so vulnerable.
It is for sure. So you gotta choose your audience wisely, right? Find people who offer constructive criticism and genuine encouragement.
Okay.
Create this circle of trust,
Yeah.
a space where you can be vulnerable without fear of judgment.
Right.
And remember, feedback is a gift.
It is.
Listen with an open mind. Consider how those suggestions can help you grow.
Right. As a poet and a performer,
Exactly.
that's a great reminder.
I'm glad.
Okay. Between keys and ink, a secret interplay revealed. This sounds intriguing, but how do I, choose the right music?
Okay, good question.
Wouldn't it be distracting?
It could be, right? So it's about finding a melody or a rhythm that enhances the poem's emotional impact.
Okay.
It doesn't overwhelm it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, does your poem have a somber tone?
Right.
Maybe a melancholic melody might be a good fit if it's more upbeat, playful.
Yeah.
Experiment with something more rhythmic, energetic.
Okay.
Think of it like creating a soundtrack that complements the story you're telling.
So it's about finding that, harmonious balance.
Yes.
Between the words and the music.
That's it.
Letting each one shine.
Exactly.
This is making me think about poetry in a whole new way.
I love that.
Okay, on to a technique that really appeals to my organizational side.
Right.
Colorful sparks in everyday life. A secret behind every corner. I love using sticky notes, but how do I avoid turning my house into this, chaotic mess?
Yeah. No, you got to be strategic. You don't just randomly stick them anywhere.
Right.
Think about your daily routine. Places where you're most likely to need that memory boost.
Okay.
That tricky stanza you always forget while making coffee?
Yeah.
Put a sticky note on your coffee maker.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Use your environment as a memory aid.
It's like turning my everyday surroundings into a giant memory palace.
I love that. That's a great way to put it.
That's amazing. All right, let's wrap things up with our final technique.
Okay.
Between lines and triumph. A dance with patience. This feels really important.
Yeah, it is.
When those words just don't want to stick.
It happens to the best of us, for sure.
How do I, stay motivated and avoid getting discouraged?
Celebrate every small victory.
Okay.
Acknowledge the progress you've made, no matter how small it seems. Each word you memorize, each stanza you recite flawlessly.
Yeah.
It's a step toward mastery. Don't underestimate the power of positive reinforcement.
That's a great reminder. It's so easy to get, caught up in our shortcomings.
Oh, for sure.
But celebrating those little wins, that can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
This whole deep dive, it's been a revelation. We've explored so many creative ways.
Yeah.
And insightful techniques.
Yeah.
For approaching this whole memorization thing.
I'm glad to hear it.
I'm not just talking about poems. This can apply to anything.
Absolutely. It's about shifting our mindset, right? From rote repetition to active engagement, from fear of forgetting to to the joy of discovery.
It's beautifully said. This has been an incredible journey so far, but we're not quite done yet.
Oh, no, we're just getting started.
Stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to delve even deeper into these 10 techniques.
We're getting practical.
We'll explore some tips, and we'll answer your burning questions.
I can't wait.
We'll be right back.
Sounds good. Welcome back. We're going to keep diving deep into this whole memory mastery thing, all right?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so we started with the echo effect. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's that idea of using repetition, to find the rhythm, the emotion.
Yeah, the heartbeat of the words.
Exactly. But what about those poems? The ones with those, really complex structures.
Right, yeah. Or the language is super dense.
Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't repeating those lines, wouldn't that just get so tedious?
It could be. Yeah.
Right? That's where you got to get strategic. You got to chunk it down, right?
Oh.
Instead of repeating the whole poem or even the stanza,
Yeah.
break it down into smaller phrases.
Okay.
Or even individual words.
Right.
And focus on the tough parts,
Okay.
The tongue twisters, those lines that are just packed with imagery.
So if I'm tackling a poem with complex metaphors,
Yeah.
could I isolate those metaphors
Yeah.
and repeat them almost like a mantra until they feel ingrained?
Exactly. And as you're repeating those phrases, pay attention to the meaning, right?
Yeah.
The nuances, how they connect to the overall theme of the poem. You're not just memorizing sounds.
Okay.
You're unraveling meaning.
Wow. This is giving me a whole new perspective on language itself.
It's powerful stuff. You're right.
It really is. Okay,
Yeah.
we talked about dance with the words, but how do I move beyond pacing back and forth? What are some ways I can incorporate movement that actually helps me remember?
All right, so think about the content of the poem, right?
Okay.
Does it describe a journey?
Right.
Use your movement to trace that journey through space.
Okay. Okay.
Does it explore contrasting emotions?
Yeah.
Use your body language to embody those shifts,
Oh, interesting.
Experiment with different levels, directions, qualities of movement.
So if the poem describes a soaring bird,
Okay. Yeah.
I could reach my arms up and mimic the flight.
Exactly. You're creating a physical manifestation of the words, right? Like a kinesthetic anchor that helps it stick.
It's like the words are taking flight, not just in my imagination, but in my body.
I love that. That's a great way to put it.
This is awesome. Okay. We also talked about an unexpected soundtrack, but how do I avoid getting stuck in a rut just passively listening to that recording?
All right. So turn it into a game.
Okay.
Listen to your recording at different speeds.
Oh, right.
With different background noises, even in different environments.
Right.
This forces your brain to work harder.
Yeah, yeah.
To really engage with those words and your delivery.
So if I'm listening on the train, I can challenge myself to pick out certain words.
Yeah, yeah.
Amidst the noise, or maybe try reciting along, matching the pace and the tone.
Exactly. You're turning your everyday life into these opportunities for learning.
Right. It's active. It's not just.
Yeah, it's active learning. You're reinforcing those neural pathways.
That's really cool. Okay. On to with closed eyes. See? Creating these vivid mental images.
Yeah.
But I struggle to make those images last.
It's tough, right?
Yeah. Especially if the poem's really long or complex. Any tips for that?
Okay, think of it like building a memory palace.
Oh.
It's a technique that memory masters have used for centuries.
Really?
Yeah. So you assign specific images to keywords, right? Or phrases.
Okay.
And you place those images in distinct locations within a familiar space.
All right. So my childhood home.
Exactly. Your favorite park, things like that.
So if the poem describes a heartbroken lover,
Okay.
I could picture them sitting on the swing set in my backyard.
Yeah, and feel the sadness, right?
Yeah.
In their posture, their expression.
It's like a visual narrative, a journey through this familiar space.
Yeah, it anchors those images in your memory.
This is amazing. I'm starting to see my childhood home in a whole new light.
I love it.
Okay. Between twilight and dream. I love the idea, but I'm a restless sleeper.
Oh, yeah.
I toss and turn. I have crazy dreams.
It happens.
Will this still work for me?
It will. Even if you don't remember those dreams, your brain's still working, right?
Oh.
It's processing. The key is to create a relaxing bedtime routine.
Okay.
Avoid screens for at least an hour before bed.
Right.
Dim the lights. Listen to some calming music, maybe some nature sounds.
So it's about like setting the stage
Exactly.
for optimal memory.
Yeah, you're creating a peaceful environment for your brain to do its thing.
Even if I don't consciously remember it.
Exactly. It's like giving your brain a soothing massage before bed.
I like that. I like that.
Oh.
Yeah, what I practice with my friends. I'm warming up to the idea of sharing.
Good, good.
But I'm worried about like negative feedback, you know?
Oh, yeah.
What if my friends just don't like the poem?
Okay, so remember, feedback is a gift.
It is. It is.
Even if it's not wrapped in the prettiest package. So instead of focusing on the judgment, right?
Listen for those nuggets of insight, you know?
Yeah.
The ones that can help you refine your delivery, strengthen your connection with the audience.
So if a friend tells me I'm like rushing through a certain stanza,
Yeah.
I could see that as an opportunity to slow down, to really savor those words.
Exactly. You're turning feedback into fuel for growth.
It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Okay. Between keys and ink, I'm starting to see how music can enhance a poem.
Yeah.
But I'm not a musician. Do I need to like hire a composer to create a score?
No. Start by exploring existing music, stuff that resonates with the poem's themes.
Okay.
You can use instrumental pieces, film scores, even popular songs.
Yeah.
See what fits, you know?
Yeah.
What enhances the emotional impact without overwhelming the words.
So like if my poem's about heartbreak, I could try setting it to like a piano piece.
Yeah.
Or a bluesy guitar.
Exactly. You're creating this sonic landscape, right? That complements the imagery. This is making me think about poetry as like a multi-sensory experience.
That's what it is.
It's not just words on a page.
Exactly.
Okay. Colorful sparks. I love turning my environment into a memory aid.
Yeah.
But what if I don't want to cover my house in sticky notes?
It can get a little crazy, right? Think beyond sticky notes. Use highlighters to mark key phrases.
Well,
maybe in your written copy of the poem, create like mind maps or diagrams.
Okay.
Even rearranging furniture.
Wow.
Adding certain objects to your workspace, you know? Create these visual cues.
So if my poem's about like a journey through a forest, I could put like a potted plant on my desk.
Exactly. Or use a green tablecloth.
Yeah, to evoke the imagery.
You got it. You're turning your environment into this like memory playground.
That's awesome. Okay, our final technique. A dance with patience. I know patience is key.
It is.
But I'm a perfectionist. I get frustrated when I stumble.
No, I totally get it. It happens to all of us. Even the most seasoned performers make mistakes. Yeah, it's part of the process. So instead of beating yourself up, use those moments as like learning experiences, you know?
All right.
Record yourself performing, identify those tricky spots.
Right.
Focus your practice on those.
So I keep forgetting, like, a transition between stanzas.
Yeah.
I could write that down on a separate note card.
Absolutely.
And just practice it.
Yeah, like a mini poem within the larger piece.
That's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about perfection. It's about progress.
Exactly.
It's embracing the journey.
I love
celebrating the little wins.
It makes all the difference.
I feel like I've gained this whole new toolkit.
Good.
And I'm excited to see how these techniques like transform my performance.
And remember, the most important tool in that toolkit, your passion.
Yeah.
Your love for those words, your desire to share them.
That's beautifully said.
Oh.
This has been incredible.
Oh, we're not done yet. We've got one more part to go.
Oh, even better. What else do you have in store for us?
We're going to wrap things up with some final thoughts on this whole memory mastery thing and a special offer from Bahn-Slam Canal. You won't want to miss it.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive, all about mastering memory.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we've covered, right?
I know, right?
From like the power of repetition to these mental landscapes to using our like surroundings.
It's been wild.
Yeah.
This whole journey has really transformed how I think about memorization.
I'm glad to hear it.
It's not about like cramming words. It's about connecting with them.
Exactly.
The rhythm, the emotion, the imagery.
Yeah, it's about making it yours, you know?
Right. And all these techniques, they're from the Bahn-Slam Canal, right?
Yep, in 10 Schritt and some perfecting Gedächtnis.
Yeah. And they can be tailored to different learning styles.
Absolutely.
Whether you're like a visual learner or you thrive on repetition.
Yay. There's something for everyone.
There's a technique for you.
Yeah.
One of the biggest takeaways for me, though, is patience.
Oh.
Self-compassion. Like,
so
memorization takes time.
It does.
It takes effort.
For sure.
And you got to be willing to, like, stumble a little.
Absolutely. Embrace those stumbles.
Yeah. Remember those stories from the Bahn-Slam canal materials?
Oh, yeah. Those were great.
Those poets, Lena, Leo, Mara,
Right.
they all faced challenges.
Oh, for sure.
They had doubts,
Definitely.
but they persevered.
They did.
They celebrated the small wins.
They turned those words into, like, powerful performances.
It's so inspiring, right?
Yeah.
They remind us that mastery isn't about perfection.
It's not about being perfect, no.
It's about progress.
It's about the journey.
It's about embracing those imperfections.
Absolutely.
Turning them into, like, opportunities to grow.
I love that.
Finding the joy in the process.
Yeah.
Speaking of joy, though,
Okay.
didn't you mention a special offer?
Oh, yeah. For our listeners from Bahn-Slam Canal,
Yeah. Tell us about it.
they're offering a holiday discount on their Poetry Master course.
Nice.
It's on their website.
Yay.
It's like this comprehensive resource.
Oh, cool.
Packed with insights, exercises, practical tips.
Perfect for aspiring poets.
Exactly.
To hone their craft, to conquer the stage.
It's a great gift.
Right for the word nerd in your life.
Yeah. Invest in their passion, empower them to share their voice.
Exactly. So if you're ready to take your poetry slam journey to the next level,
Or you know someone who is,
head over to the Bahn-Slam Canal website.
check out this offer.
It's incredible. Embrace the power of language.
Cultivate that patience, that self-compassion.
Never stop exploring.
The magic of poetry.
Mit poetischen Grüßen, Stefan vom Bahn-Slam Canal.